right, so this week we are going to continue to look at this blog post where this lovely person interviewed 2,800 people for best life advice. Last week we already analyzed or just take a look and react to the first part, which was about relationships. And now we're going to continue, as promised, with the next one, which is timing and the future. Remember, this is best advice selected from 2,800 people. The way I'm going to move through them, sometimes I'm going to have something to add, sometimes I'm not, and I'm going to just graciously move next. But no matter what, this is the first time when I read them. So I never read this blog post entirely. I'm reading it on camera. I'm reacting to it. So whatever I say, it's the full version of me. And trust me, I'm having fun because, life advice is what I do. I do life coaching. So then I enjoy this. Let's go. First, it's far more important to figure out what you don't like rather than what you do. It's far more important to figure out what you don't like rather than what you do. Okay, what you don't like. Yes, I agree with this because you have to understand what you don't want out of life first. Because most people think about what do I want out of life? And they kind of like ignore what are the traps. They ignore the dangers. They ignore the I don't want this. And interesting enough, they pursue or they start projects based on what do I want? Oh, that looks good. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start this career. I'm going to start this project, whatever. And because they never consult with what I don't want, eventually they get to face it. They sometimes, for example, you are going to notice these people starting careers just being attracted by what looks shiny and attractive. And then eventually, 5 to 10 years later, when they already have invested a lot, now they are facing the other side of the coin where they can see like, yeah, but I don't like this. I not just that I don't like it. I don't want this. Maybe, I don't know, imagine, for example, you go to the law school and you get attracted to that by, I don't know, whatever. I don't know, maybe in your family you have lawyers, maybe, I don't know, it's just like something that attracts you in there, right? You like to argue a lot. You like to argument ideas, whatever it is that interests you in there, right? But let's say that eventually you get to the point where you have to defend someone that you know for a fact that they are guilty. And now you know you have to pretend, because otherwise you're going to lose the case. You cannot show up in court and go like, Your Honor, this guy is guilty. Like, put his ass in jail. That's it. And for some people, this is a problem. But they are realizing this way too late, after they have already invested in the going to school, university, jumping through all the hoops, and that means a lot of money. And now they feel stuck. And that is because, and that's why this advice is good, it's because it is far more important to figure out what you don't like. Or I would say not just don't like, I would add this, figure out, when you start anything in life, figure out what you don't want. If it's a relationship, figure out what you will not accept, what you will not tolerate, given that this person might do or be, right? It's not about liking, it's about what you don't want, what you will not accept, what you will, like, figure out where you draw the line. So advice is good, just a few things. Next. Have you ever heard the saying, nobody looks back on their life and remembers the nights they had plenty of sleep? I would tell myself that saying is complete bullshit. Everybody is with you at the party, but nobody is with you for the hangover. It's true. Pick and choose how you invest your time. Don't just spend it. Yeah, well, okay, a lot of things from this person. We're going to have to try to break it down in parts. Have you ever heard about the saying, nobody looks back on their life and remembers the nights that they had plenty of sleep? Yes, because you don't remember that, and also they don't really happen that much. So nothing that special so far. I'll tell to myself that saying is complete bullshit. Everybody is with you at the party, but nobody is with you for the hangover. Yes, you're paying the price by yourself. you are enjoying the company with everyone else, but you are paying the price by yourself. Yes, that applies in so many areas. Correct. Pick and choose how you invest your time. Don't just spend it. I like this part. This part I like it. You know why? Because although whoever is this person says don't spend it, in reality, most people don't spend time. They waste time. That's very different. Think about it. Spending is when you make a conscious, more or less a conscious decision. Like, you know what, I want to buy that. I'm looking at the price and I want it and I pay for it. So then I make the exchange and, you know, I'm spending something. I'm spending some money, right? But unfortunately, most people do not spend. Although, you know, the quote is in, like, the word is in quotes, spend. In reality, most people actually wasted their time. It's not like really a conscious choice. But what I do like about this is pick and choose how you invest your time. This one is actually good. But of course, most people actually don't do this. But it would be nice if people would think about time as a currency or like an energy reserve that should be invested. Because the moment when you think about your time as in like investing, you become way more careful who you spend your time with, how you spend your time or what you spend your time doing, and it becomes an investment. Just that word alone, if it would be applied consistently, it it almost like makes you conscious about what you're about to do. But again, most people are not, so then they just waste it. And you're also not going to notice that a lot of this is going to be good advice that nobody really applies. Because just knowing a good idea doesn't mean that you're going to do it. Invest early and often. I don't know how this is the best advice from 2,800 people, but invest early and often. Yes, I agree. It's a bit tricky, but let's actually break it down. Invest early. Yes, it's good because then your investment is going to compound. If you invest when you're like 15 or like 18 and then that compounds, oh my God, it's just like years and decades are going to work for you. By the time when you're like 50, 60, you are already going to be set financially. You're not going to worry about money. The only thing that I would add here is make sure that you don't invest so early that you really have no idea what you're doing, because, you know, you're going to waste all that money. And the problem is not in failure, because if you fail and you learn something and you come back at investing with a renewed understanding of it and, you know, better prepared, that's actually good, right? But the problem is that most people quit. If they start really early, they start with this attitude like, oh my God, I'm going to invest, I'm going to make a bunch of money, blah, blah, blah. So they are full of themselves and, you know, in their own ignorance, because when you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be ignorant, right? And confident. The problem is that they are going to get punched in the face, definitely. But the problem is what happens after that. Most people quit. They get punched in the face. They realize, oh, I lost all of this. And I'm like, oh, I'm not good. And they doubted themselves. And they never come back with a renewed understanding. Go like, wait, the first time when I did it, I was kind of stupid, but I learned this, and that. And this time here's what I'm going to do different, right? So invest early, but make sure that you still, you know, you don't come with that attitude that will just have you fail and never come back to it. Otherwise, good advice. Next, face the music. And by the way, before I go this, let me see how much are we. Not much. Okay, good. I think I can do this today. Next, and then you know what? Let me just highlight so then it becomes better for you visually. Face the music. This one. Face the music when it plays, not a moment before. I guess this is not about music, right? Stressing about something before it happens, and when you're in no position to act on that stress, just puts you through the event twice unnecessarily. I see. Okay. Things happen or don't happen right on time. Yeah, so I guess this goes back to our negative thinking when we, you know, it's what some people call like death by 1,000 cuts. When you worry about things before they happen, and most of the times they don't even happen, but you you went through that experience as if it's already happened. Like you went through the pain, to the struggle in your mind. You like, oh my God, what if this happens? And that becomes reality. Your body lives in that reality, and you pay, you pay the bill for all of that unnecessary stress. And then you realize most of the times that it didn't happen. But if this is the direction, maybe the person writing or like saying this, maybe they went in a different direction. I have no idea. But if this is in this direction, I would say that the only way that this is sometimes useful, but only depends on how much and how you are doing it, is just to prepare for something, right? So if you think about something just in order for you to prepare, like, so if this happens, what is going to be my response? What am I going to do? But you don't go over, you don't now ruminate on it every day, you don't stress yourself, like you just like spiral out of control. If you don't do that, the act of thinking about something before it happens, of course it's useful because, well, you can prepare for it. So there is that. Next, when you graduate, all people talk about is getting a stable job and salary immediately. No one talks about the million other potential paths to take after graduating. Explore this fully, even though no one is talking about them. Yes, truly, when you're in college or like teenage years, whatever, you are preparing for life, everyone has an opinion, not just an opinion, they're claiming to know the truth of what you should do. Oh, you should do this, you should do that. And they give you ideas and suggestions. And the problem is that you don't really have a way to contrast that. Like whatever you are getting, you don't really know if that is high quality advice or just like someone who has no idea what they're saying giving you advice. You don't know because, well, you just arrive here and you are learning, and you don't have that prior experience to contrast what this person is suggesting, to go like, let me see how is that according to my own experience, like putting things together, right? You don't have that. So then the problem with this stage in life is that, well, you don't really know what is the truth or what is truer, closer to the truth, right? Because, well, the truth is not really something that we people have access to. We don't have access to absolute truth. We have access to perspectives. We have access to opinions. We have access to experience, which might get you closer or further from the truth. That's why I call it something that can be truer or less true. But anyway, truer, closer to the truth is still good. But you don't really have that ability to contrast because you don't have prior experience to contrast it with. And yeah, that's where this becomes an issue. In that stage in life, you might say like, yeah, I understand the problem, but what would I do? Well, you see, YouTube is, and similar the platform, but let's just take YouTube. It's very useful in this case because you can find the opinions or like a described experience from people who already have lived that life. Like they went or they've been in the place that you are currently, and they just like you started this career like maybe 20 years ago or like 10 years ago, and they can tell you something. And the value is not in just like listening to one person that, oh my God, I found this person, so they have this experience, so they must be telling the truth, or like I should listen to them. No, the value comes when you listen to multiple people, and then you have a sense of like, like you start to kind of like get experience by proxy. You did not have that experience yet, but because you have consulted with multiple different angles, now at the least you can contrast that, and you are going to have a more informed opinion onto whatever someone else might be suggesting. So at least you can do that. The problem is when you don't do that and you just listen, like, oh, because your mom, your dad, whatever, your older brother, whoever in your like circle tells you like, oh, you should go to the law school, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, you have internet, so broaden your perspective, because nobody can have like a really like a more rounded perspective than you can get by consulting multiple perspectives. Next one. This one is a classic one. Whatever. This too shall pass. This one is simple, but at the same time, it's it's very important for people to remember this. It's don't get tricked by how simplistic this sounds, because it addresses something that most people would need to hear or listen in most events, in most of their like different events that they go through. I messed that one up, but you understand. This too shall pass means you are going through something, and you are definitely, we tend to get caught up into the event, into what she said, into what he did, into, oh my god, what this happened, and we get to we tangle ourselves with the event, and then with our like our emotions and whatever we feel, we live in that. If it's like feels like hell, now you live in hell permanently. But remembering that this too shall pass is actually very useful. It's very useful because, well, it helps you to take a step back and go like, wait, I know this is bad, it feels bad, I know that it's not just like how I feel, but I know that this is going to be painful or whatever. There is a cost to this, like there is real struggle here and real pain, but it's also going to pass. Like nothing that is really really good or nothing that is really really bad, something that is pleasurable or painful, is going to stay here forever. All good and bad just pass, and these too shall pass. It helps you to kind of take a step back and put things in perspective and understand, like, well, it's just like weather, it comes and goes. So I know that right now it's going to be painful for a while, but it will pass. It gives you a sense of calm. It gives you a sense of perspective. Like you can see things from a broader perspective, not just like zoom in, like, oh my god, this is like so terrible, like when we are too focused on whatever is happening. So simple but very useful. But the advice itself is not really original from this person, because this has been said many 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 times by many people. And I guess at one point it was said by one person that then became popular. The more prepared, next one, let me select. I promised you that I'm going to select them, but I forget. So the more prepared I am, the luckier I get. Yes, the more prepared I am, the luckier I get. It's just a simple way to say, like, your competence matters. If you become competent in a field, eventually things will, without you knowing and without knowing when, they will click into place. So when they click into place, they don't click because you're lucky. It looks like that to you. That's why the word luckier is here. But in reality, it's not because you're lucky. It's because you are prepared. Like, you're ready to receive that. You kind of like deserve it. So you have put in the work, the preparedness. So then luck is, in this context, is the unexpected. Like, oh my God, like look at this unexpected great thing that happened, and it looks like I got lucky because it comes out of nowhere. Like, we don't really know where it's coming from, and that's why it makes it look like, oh, I got lucky. But in reality, the luck, as this person says, comes from the fact that you're competent at something, you did something well, and maybe you were consistent with something that eventually your efforts compound, and eventually, boom, you get the result. You're like, oh my God. But that was like, this luck was in the making for, if you look back in the past 5 to 10 years, who knows if you really try to see that, right? Next one. The biggest mistake you can make in life is thinking you have enough time. Oof, this hits deep because it's true, and we tend to live life as if like we live forever. And that's really the problem, especially in teenage years. People live like they actually live forever. But then as people get older, in their, like, I don't know, like 40s and 50s and 60s, the more the older they get, they realize, oh, actually, I'm not going to live forever. And I guess people become aware of that when they start to lose maybe some of the strength, some of the fitness. They are not so healthy, and they feel like their body slowly breaking down, and they feel that, oh, this is funny. Hey Siri, cancel the alarm. Okay, that real time. Like, I told you, you get the real me. I'm not going to cut this. Funny. And I think it's going to be another one at 9:26, because since this happened, let me explain. At 9:21 p.m., it's like when this alarm ring, It reminds me, it's an alarm asking me, did you run today? Have you run today? Because I have a challenge to run every day. I started in 1st of January 2021. That's why it runs at 9:21. So it reminds me, have you run today? So I did. It's going to be another alarm at 9:26 p.m. because in 2026, at the beginning of this year, I started the challenge to publish a video every week on YouTube. So now you know, you're going to see in 5 minutes, the alarm is going to ring again, so you know. It's funny, it's real time, this is the real me. Oh, so what I was saying, yeah, that's the biggest mistake you can make in life is thinking you have enough time. You don't have enough time. That is very true. It's sad to, it's a sad realization if you are wasting time, if you feel like you have wasted maybe the past 5 to 10 years, whatever, even more. It's sad for many people. But guess what? Like it doesn't matter what's your age. Even if you're like in your 50s and you hear this and you go like, oh my God, that's true. It's like so painful because I haven't realized what I wanted and I'm in my 50s and whatever. But look, the point is that it's never really too late until it's too late. So if you can still do something about it, the good news is that you can start now, like literally now you can. So if that is your case, take this as a window of opportunity and just do it. Next, enjoy the little moments, as cliche as that sounds. It sounds cliche, but also sounds true. Time really does fly. We look back 1 year ago and it feels like yesterday. But in reality, so much has transpired. Grasp the small moments along the way and realize they won't be there forever. Yeah, it's about the same thing, which is the passing of time. Actually, I made this experiment like a few years ago. When I realized this, and I remember I told to my brother at one point, I said like, hey, I will make an experiment and I will tell you this. Remember when I do this, and you will see when I do this next time that it's going to feel to you like a split second passed, but in reality it's going to be a few years later. And I did this. I waited for a few years. I remember that. And I came back to him and I said like, hey, do you remember when I did this to you a few years ago? He said, oh yeah, I think like you told me to remember something. I said like, that's it. I said like, remember I told you to realize that it's just a split second, but years have passed. And he was like, oh wow, that's like shocking and true. Exactly, because time feels like passing that way, and it's scary. To be honest, it's scary. But if it scares you, it should be the opportunity for you to actually do something about it, to take action, to be more consistent with the things that you said that you want to do, but somehow you were not. Like there is no better time than now. Just like starting now, whatever you wanted to do, and then staying consistent through that, it's really the best thing that you can do. But the problem is that most people understand this. They listen to this and go like, oh yeah, I know, time flies fast. Like everyone goes like, oh yeah, time flies fast. But are they applying that in their own life? Like are people who know this intellectually, do they apply this in their own life? Are they really following their dreams? Are they following with their best, highest, wise self? Do they do that? No, they don't. That's the point, because it's easy to just say something like, oh, I know smoking is bad, but people who say smoking is bad are usually the people who continue to smoke. But does that mean that they really know that smoking is bad? Because if you would really know that smoking is actually bad, you would do something about it and you would quit. Most people know that time flies fast and they still waste it. And to be honest, this is the saddest part. It's what this guy Chris Williamson, I think, he calls the unteachable lessons. Unteachable lessons is mistakes that everyone does over and over again through generations. Everyone talks about them and everyone keeps repeating them. It's like, this is one of them. This is one of that mistake that we seems like to not understand that life is limited. Hey Siri, cancel the alarm. See, I told you, 9:26. Okay, perfect. Let's move to the next one. Relax and see where life takes you. And by the way, since I talk about this just because it happened, If you want to know about my challenge, the first video on this channel in January, 1st of January 2026, explains what my challenge is about. So just if you want, it's there. But now we're going to continue. How much? 26 minutes. Oh, we're good. Okay. Relax and see where life takes you. This doesn't mean be lazy. This means you don't have to take exactly where you're going or how you're getting there. You don't have to know. Okay. It takes time to discover what you love and what you hate. Years, sometimes decades. Don't expect to know all the answers in your 20s. Okay. It seems like a wise person, someone in the like 40s, 50s, who knows. Relax and see where life takes you, but this doesn't mean to be lazy. Yes, but this is more like an art than a science. It's very you have to kind of like balance things in here, because it's not easy to just relax into knowing where life takes you without getting lazy. That's the point. And the advice is good, but knowing how to do that is actually pretty, it requires some experience, which in your 20s you don't have. So it's good advice, but most people in their 20s will not really know. Someone who can say this is someone who had the experience, knows how that is like, and they speak about it, but they do that because they already had the experience. So it's kind of like, it's useful advice, but it will not work on the generation that most needs it. But nonetheless, I can explain this. To relax and see where life takes you means, oh my God, I'm trying to explain something very complex, very, very simply, but it means try to see those directions where you feel pulled towards, like you have an interest, something interests you, like you do something and it kind of feels different. It feels like, it's not just like I enjoy this more than everything else. And then you can just gently, maybe do it more, see how it feels. And then where life takes you means pursue this further gently without really committing, like, oh my God, this is amazing. From next day, I'm going to invest everything. That this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life, because you don't know. But to relax into that, it means like to lean into your interest, lean into what really interests you or drives you or moves you, right? Is to lean in, like get curious about it, notice it and go like, I could do this more, and then you can explore gently, right? So at least that's one way. I'm not saying it's the only way. You can do this in many ways, but time is short. So next. But wait, this person had more to say. This means you don't have to know exactly where you're going or how you're getting there. Yeah, I agree. This is an explanation of what they mean by relax. And yeah, that works. You don't have to figure out in your mind. This is how I would translate this. You don't have to figure out the journey in your mind. The journey has to happen. This is a mistake that many people in their 20s, they try to do. They try to figure out their life in their head. Like, oh, let me really, really think about everything, right? And that really, it will make you to be close to a philosopher, and you're going to become very good at critical thinking and all of that, because you try to analyze experience that hasn't happened yet. But it doesn't really work. And the opposite of that also doesn't work. Meaning some people take the opposite approach. Oh, I'm not going to think about anything, just take action, and then, figure out later. That's also not good, because when you take action, you're going to take some results, some feedback is going to come back. And you don't know what this feedback really means, and you're going to interpret that feedback. You're going to have some beliefs on it and go like, oh yeah, this means that I should continue. And then you continue, and then you realize decades later, like, oh, actually, when I made that decision to commit to this because this happened, I got a client and the money felt to me like validation that I should continue. In reality, I got a client, if I think better, I got a client because I got lucky. So I was not really good at it, but I got lucky, but I took that as a proof that I should continue. You can see how this can go wrong, right? That's why it's just very good to take it easy, to try to really evaluate properly. You can lean into something, you can try things, but always take a step back and evaluate, think about it, and then continue. Take action again and then evaluate again. Not just like, like all of a sudden you commit to everything, because life is more complex than that. Next, buckle up. Life turns upside down often and unexpectedly. I agree. And it's true. It doesn't matter if I agree, it's true. How can you prepare yourself for those moments? Tell me. There is no other correct answer, but just by asking the question, you remind yourself that something is coming to try and knock you off course. How can you prepare for yourself for those moments? Tell me. There is no one correct answer. Not correct answer, but there are some good answers that I could think of. But anyway, but just by asking the question, you remind yourself that something is coming and try to knock you off course. Okay, so there is no clear answer in this person's view. There is no clear answer, and I tend to agree with that. That you don't know really how to prepare for anything that you don't know that's coming your way. But just by asking yourself, or like prompting yourself that something is going to happen and you are going to be unprepared, at least that is going to give you something. So definitely, at least when it comes, you're not going to be so shocked. Like, oh my God, like this bad thing unexpected happened. Like most people are like shocked about this. Like people who are really prepared, that they are going to know like, well, yeah, it happens. This happened, it sucks, but at the same time, I knew that at one point something bad will happen. So then, yeah, I guess I'm going to deal with it. So that's it. Pretty good. Next, we are finishing. Don't worry about having everything figured out, because you never will. Truth. The best thing you can do is to make progress no matter how slow. I'm not sure if that's really the best thing. I can explain that, but to make progress no matter how slow, that's definitely a very good thing. I'm not sure if it's the best thing, but definitely a very good thing. I just kissed the microphone. Moving in the right direction is more important than arriving. Moving in the right direction is more important than arriving. I agree. It's definitely good advice. It's definitely, it comes from a person with a lot of experience, I believe. Because, and it's, at the same time, it also seems very simple, but I feel like it hides a little bit more complexity behind it. So, first part, don't worry about having everything figured out, because you never will. True, don't expect that. Like, don't think that you can figure everything, because you won't. And the problem with this, and why this is actually good advice, is that this is one of those unteachable lessons. Everyone thinks that they can figure out. Everyone thinks that you can, like, oh, I can figure this out and I can figure that out. It's like, in reality, we know less than we think we do, and we can understand, or we process a lot less information than we think that we do. And our beliefs, or like the stories that we make and the things that we decide to believe that we call truth, they are based on just like a few data points. And then when in reality itself is a lot more complex. It's infinite, right? And you as a person, like just like me, we have so much less data points available to us, and we think that, oh my God, I'm going to figure it out. Like, figure what exactly? Like, it's like you're like a tiny speck into like an infinite, like an infinite consciousness. And you think like you're going to figure out. You won't. And having this understanding that I won't figure everything out, or I cannot figure everything out, that's actually useful, because it puts you in the right position. It doesn't really put you in a position where you don't really belong. So at least with the right attitude, at least you are going to account for that unexpectedness. You are going to account for, but I cannot know everything, and there is a lot of things that I cannot really access, and there is a lot of unknown in there, and just that helps you to process a little bit more of the complexity, even indirectly, by accounting for it, which is very useful. Like, there is nothing worse than just a person who has limited information and being very convinced about, oh yeah, I figured it out, I know everything, blah, blah, blah. So then, it's becoming aware of this, it's wise, it's mature and useful. The best thing you can do is make progress no matter how slow. Okay, so I agree with making progress no matter how slow is useful. That is definitely useful. Is that really the best thing you can do? Not really sure. Like it, I try to stay away from really claiming absolutes. Like the best thing is this. Sometimes I use it myself. I'm guilty of this, but if I really think and reflect properly, I understand that it's really hard to be accurate when you claim absolutes. Oh, the best, like literally the top, like the top of the top is like this. I'm like, huh. Reality is a lot more complex than that, and how could you really claim this? That's it. Like sometimes I'm arrogant and I make claims like this, and sometimes I'm more humble and I go like, well, I'm not sure if it's really the best. I could think about other things that could at least be still the best, but yeah, that's it. So good advice. I'm not saying it's not good advice. I'm just saying this thing like the best. Moving in the right direction is more important than arriving. Yeah, moving in the right direction is more important than arriving. I definitely agree with this. 3 pieces of advice left. Let's go. The future is coming. No one doubts that, but don't let it distract you from what's right in front of you. The future will get here when it gets here. Okay. Yeah, it's this one. I would say maybe I'm missing the deeper point, but it looks like it refers to something pretty simple. Don't like make sure that you live in also in the present, like you enjoy the present, and don't spend your whole life about the future, like thinking, projecting, like whoa, all of this, and then realizing one day sadly that you have lived the past decades just in your head, like you're living like an illusion, like living in a reality that never arrived. Like that is a sad realization. If this is where this person is going with the advice, yeah, it's more like go in the future, like project, think about the future, like try to prepare, try to think as much as you can, but just for as much as it has utility for to construct like a better present that eventually will construct a better future, if that makes sense, right? So you can consult with the future, but make it useful. Don't make it like your default place where you live. So many people, they live their lives either in the future, either in the past. If it's in the past, they always ruminate and spin, like go on in circles in their mind about events in their past, things that happen, and they just relive that over and over and over again. Or other people just constantly always think about the future. They have projects, they have this, always. And not never about the present moment. And yeah, the future eventually it gets when it gets, which is very true, because sometimes it can mean that maybe it will not get. Like if you think about something and you think about a project and it's like, oh yeah, this will happen. Like you don't know. So future gets when it gets, but it doesn't mean that it will get. So then yeah, it's pretty good advice. Next one. I wouldn't have so much advice to offer than just show up. Showing up is a lot more than most people do. Yes, this one is pretty simple. And also, it's deceivingly simple, but very powerful. Showing up is powerful if it's done consistently. Most people understand that showing up is important, like really, doing the things that you say you will do, executing on your plan, right? But here, what the word that is missing, and I would definitely add, is consistently showing up. It's easy to show up one day, 1 week, 1 month, but consistently showing up, even when it's hard, when it's difficult, when you're doubting yourself, consistently showing up when nobody else wants to show up and you are the only one that would still show up, that is really, yeah, that's where it gets valuable. It's not valuable when most people judge this advice, like, oh yeah, I look for 2 months, I did show up and I did this. Yeah. Showing up is valuable when you do it consistently, especially when it's hard. That's when showing up, it's really showing up, if you know what I mean. And the last one for today, I loved every single one of them. I wouldn't tell myself anything. All the challenges and hardship have landed me exactly where I was going. No advice can save someone from facing the thing that awaited them. We found, ladies and gentlemen, we found a good one. Not that others were not good, they were good, but this one is a bit more, has more like bouquet, like aroma, taste. It has like a, it's delicate. It's graceful. I don't know if that's the word. Like it has grace in it. I wouldn't tell myself anything. All the challenges. Oh yeah, because the advice that these 2,800 people gave, they were asked. If you remember last week, I spoke about it. They were asked, "What advice would you give yourself to your younger self?" That's why this person starts with, "I wouldn't tell myself anything," like my younger self. All the challenges and hardships have landed me exactly where I was going. You know what's funny about this? And we are also going to address it a bit more seriously, but it's funny. I almost imagine this person, they would meet their younger self, and the younger self is like desperate, like, tell me what is the future? Like, teach me, what should I do? And this person will be like, I wouldn't tell myself anything. I would be like, nah. All the challenges and hardships are going to get you exactly where you're going. Can you imagine the younger self would be like, you just came from the future to tell me this? Like, you're not saying anything. Like, dude, tell me the future. What are you doing? Do something. No advice can save someone from facing the things that await them. Oh, this part hits deep. I will tell you this. No advice. This is where it gets serious. No advice can save someone from facing the things that await them. Oh, this one hits deep. It's really good, but it's also painful because it's so true. Damn, this is good. Oh my God. I wish I would know who this person, whoever is this person, somewhere in the universe, you are out there, you made this comment and you gave this advice. I would say that you have a lot of wisdom. And yeah, may God be with you and the universe to be with you, because yeah. This part is really what hits deep. No advice can save someone from facing the things that await them. Think about what this means. Like, in your experience, even if someone would know your future and say like, look, but without really telling you, hey, I know the future, because then you would not listen to the advice you are going to follow just because they know the future. No, ignore that part, right? Let's say that they know the future, but you don't know that they know the future, and they would give you advice. And this advice would be spot on about what is going to happen to you. Because you don't really know that this person really knows the future. You're not going to listen to it, because you are not really the person that has become the person that now has the experience that can now recognize that their advice is true. You are before that. So before that, you are a different person that in that context, before the experience, doesn't make sense. Like, the reality didn't align to you. Like, you're missing the pieces. And that's why it's so true. God damn it, this brilliant advice. No advice can save someone from facing the things that await them. And I will let it here. I loved every single one of them, but this, the last one, is my favorite. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it as well with me. And next week, we're going to discuss about, there is one more part, personal growth. This is what we discussed next week. And yeah, I'm going to see you next time.